How is the court's docket arranged to hear these matters? Is there a separate docket, a separate time of day when all of the matters are heard, or how does that work?
Yes, there's a separate docket, as I said before, one in Silver Spring, one in Rockville, every day, scheduled to last the morning from 8:30 till lunchtime, whenever the judge wants to break that, typically around noon. And with any luck, we can hear and finish all the cases that we are assigned on that particular day. Now, throughout the day, however, that judge will be obligated to hear what we call walk-in cases. Those would be people who would be coming in seeking temporary orders, which they could do any time until the close of business.
I see. What about cases in which the parties are already involved in a divorce case in the circuit court? What happens with those cases?
If there is an order of any kind in a circuit court case, either in a divorce case or custody matter, a temporary order can be transferred from the district court to the circuit court.
I see.
But we have to at least issue a temporary order. We can't just send somebody across the street to the circuit court, but they could start in the circuit court.
So after that first court appearance, however that comes about, when there's a temporary or an interim order in place, can you describe what happens next?
Once the order is
put in place, is that when Chief Deputy Popkin takes over?
Yes, the sheriff has the next step then.
As soon as the order, whether they're coming to the Family Justice Center first or they're going to the courts first, as soon as the order is issued, then we have the opportunity to discuss the cases with the petitioners, the victims of these domestic violence cases. We go through safety planning. We decide whether or not there's additional services that are needed. Shelter, we do a safety interview with each person that receives one of these orders, not only for the safety of the deputies, but for the safety of the petitioners in these cases. So when they walk out of our office, not only do they know that the sheriff's deputies are going to be coming out and serving these orders, but they also know that they are going to be protected until their next court hearing date.
So in situations, for instance, where the petitioner knows that there's a cache of firearms at this individual's home or something of that nature, you'd be prepared for that?
Yes. The laws have changed over the last several years, and again changed this year, that now allows for judges to have the sheriff's deputies seize the orders during the temporary stage as well as the final stage. So the sheriff's office not only is responsible for serving these orders, but we're also responsible for seizing the firearms that the respondents actually surrender once these orders are signed by the judges.
That's very reassuring to hear.
Yes.
And I'm sure it's reassuring to the petitioners also, who are most of the time pretty afraid.
Correct.
What about where the respondent is in another jurisdiction? What happens then if you have difficulty serving them in Montgomery County and you hear that they've fled to a nearby jurisdiction?
In most cases, the majority of orders we receive, the respondents do live in Montgomery County. And I can tell you in almost 100% certainty, we will get most of those people served. When they either flee the area or they live outside of the area, we have partner law enforcement agencies certainly throughout the state of Maryland and actually throughout the country, that we will make sure the orders get sent to those locations, and in most cases they are being served. As the judge would probably tell you, in his experience, you will see cases actually that people are served as far away as California and Las Vegas and different things. So if the orders are here, we will individually go out and serve the respondents in the case, and many times vacate them out of their homes, as the court order directs us to do. But if it's something out of our county or out of the state of Maryland, then we will send them to partner law enforcement agencies. And they have, just like another protective order that is enforced here in Maryland, there's full faith and credit in all locations. So if somebody violates the terms and conditions of those orders, whether it's out of the state or within the state, there's sanctions of arrest of possibility.
This is a pretty strong order.
Yes. And this is just the temporary order.
And that's my next question
Yeah.
for you, judges, is at the temporary stage, what kinds of relief are you able to grant? What exactly, we've heard that you're able to take away firearms.
We can take away firearms, we can kick them out of their home. We can award custody of children, order that they stay away from places of employment, from schools, from homes of other family members, from temporary residences. There's a whole list of things we can do.
And how about assisting the petitioner at the same time? I've heard that maybe you can order that they can use a home, use a vehicle.
Yeah, the vehicle use is not generally in the temporary order. That comes at the final order stage.
Okay. And how about emergency support or maintenance?
That's also in the final order.
Okay, so those things aren't immediately available, but at the final stage they may be.
Custody, I think I already said, is available in the temporary. But the big thing that is only available at the final is the financial. And sometimes we get quite involved in financial issues at the hearing for a final order.
I see. Chief Deputy, you were on the committee that designed and started the implementation of the Family Justice Center. Can you discuss how that came about and what it now features?
Sure. There are 40 Family Justice Centers across the world right now, including as far away as Amman, Jordan, and London, England. And the remainder of them are in the United States. The first one being in 2002 in San Diego. And we actually sent some staff out from the Sheriff's Office to look at the San Diego Family Justice Center and model Montgomery counties after that Justice Center. They realized that when there's interventions, especially by the courts and law enforcement, there's the potential for reducing not only recidivism rate in domestic violence, but also reducing the number of homicides, domestic-related homicides that occurred out there. So we modeled the Family Justice Center here in Montgomery County after that, and it provides really a one-stop shop and a wraparound services. Prior to the Family Justice Center opening, there was 40 some odd locations in Montgomery County where victims had to navigate through the system, and being unfamiliar with the system, sometimes it was very difficult.
So 40 locations where they would obtain different services that they need?
Throughout the county, from the courts to the Sheriff's Office to counseling services, to medical services, just up to 40 different locations that were throughout the county. And so what we've done is we've taken many of those locations in this first phase of the Justice Center and we've put them into one location, which is generally a one-stop shop now, that they can be provided all services that would go along with this domestic violence center that we have over there. And eventually, like I said, if they come to us first, we listen to the story, we listen to what happened, and then we will send them to court afterwards. If they go to court right now, then they come to us. Actually, the courts, once the order's issued, they come to us afterwards.
I see. How about individuals who come to the Family Justice Center with children in tow? And we often see, lawyers often see that in court,
Right.
where very sad situations where parents are fighting in court and making some pretty ugly allegations, and small children are there watching. How is that handled at the Family Justice Center?
Right. One of the things that we know, and we work with the leadership not only of the county but with the courts as well, is one of the most difficult things that we see is the silent victims in this case are the children. And they witness these terrible, tragic events that occur usually the night before, that the petitioners will come in and tell the judges the story of what went on. And unfortunately, in many cases up until now, they had to go with their mothers and sit in court and then hear the story again that they were already a witness to the night before. So what we've done at the Family Justice Center is we have a separate children's area. We insisted on having a safe environment where they could come play. There's books, there's toys, there's movies, there's things that they can do there, so when the victims, domestic violence victims themselves, can meet with counselors alone, so the children again don't have to be re-victimized to hear the stories of the difficult situations that they had already witnessed the night before.
That alone sounds like a terrific service to be offering.